Yeah, who's ready for some boom, baby? Boom! Rise and shine on a rainy motherfucking day, baby. I see people out here in the rain. Oh shit, there's people in my backyard. They're over here watering the lawn. I'm over here in my underwear, and she's carrying a bucket. Wow, strangers in the backyard. I love that. Dogs barking. What the fuck's she doing? I don't know what she's doing. She's watching the windows or something. It's like a cleaning service in here. She's out in the rain. Literally, watch your steps. This chick's out in the rain with a fucking cleaning thing. Is this like how the porno starts? Where I'm in my underwear and she's over here just starts cleaning like a motherfucker? Yeah. You know what I mean, bro? Watch your steps. It's slippery out there. The brain be making you trip. And it's not just the rain that makes us trip, it's our patterns. You know what I mean? This is what it is. We have so many patterns. Let me get a shirt on. Um, that it's almost untrackable, right? Like even when I woke up this morning, my normal morning wake up is like I play in the megahertz in the background and I am affirmations and samurai shorts, you know what I mean, bro? Saints addiction. We're on a mission. I should say it right there. Boom, baby, boom. Should say it right there. Boom, baby, boom. And in my stepping, right? Stepping towards a different outcome, I watch as I've grown. Just me, like my own growth and talking to my friends and they need support and going to the hospital. That was fun yesterday. I do have a cyst in my jaw. So weird to have someone right outside my window, but yeah, man. Beards on shirts. Fun drive me crazy. My patterns drive me crazy. Either they're gonna alleviate some pain to me, or they're gonna drive me crazy. That I find myself doing the same thing, you know, and not wondering how the situation happened. Oh shit, I just masturbated. Oh shit, I just lost an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours on my phone. Oh shit, I just woke up. These things are your neural pathways. You can call them a dopamine pathway. You can call them a habit. You can call them addiction. And I study these things. I studied my ability to change the way I was thinking. Now, it's really hard because your system probably is addicted to the emergency. Like, oh shit, it's not going to work. Oh shit, we're running out of money. Oh crap, what do I do? And I had the best feeling, and I'll share it with you. I want you to have it too. Um, is I relied on my business. My whole life, all I wanted to do was have a business, and now it's like having a bank. I literally made over $1,000 in one day, which wouldn't mean much to most people if you weren't down to your last $40 like me. Just spending, buying everything I wanted, food, sushi for my friends, and next thing I know, it's like $40. I'm like, how'd I go from like 800 to 400 so fast? I wasn't watching my steps. And also, how easy it is for us to tune out and not pay attention at all, like at all. And yeah, you got to wake up every day, but are you really awake? That's a big question. And are you doing it for your own sake or are you doing it for the pathway? You know? And as I leaned on my belief of abundance, I didn't panic. It's organic. Bing, join Weed Club, Snoochie Boochie Noochies, right? I said abundance, abundance, abundance. And sure as shit, the person called me back, ordered about 3 business cards in an hour, and the other one ordered 3 stickers in an hour, and I cleared $1,000. Now, normally I would have been freaking out and talking too much about money and trying to borrow some or freaking out, right? Whatever you call anxiety, I can do it too. And in it, no, I don't waste my time with that anymore, right? Life is so short. We all say that, but the amount of time we spend on our stresses or our patterns or regrets, the past, is the moments that we're not giving ourselves any power to the new path, right? And I was telling this to Lily because she's also going through it. She's going through her transformation phase. She's going from a hoe phase to a wife phase. And in that transformation, she's like, why won't this speed up? And I'm like, you kind of don't want it to speed up. It's such a magical moment to have. It's taken me almost 15 years to do that, but to rely on my business, to just travel the world without any promise of income. Most people are like, well, I got to make $50,000 a month. And I heard that from her, actually. She said that as long as my business is making 50 G's a month. And I'm thinking, I just heard that some of the most richest people on earth have $50,000 a month of discretionary income. And they can't even spend that. Like, that's so much money that you won't even need any of it. And that was his argument. It was like, these people have beyond what is normal. They asked him, have you ever looked at, let's say, 1,000,000 seconds versus 1,000,000,000 seconds? I'll let everybody guess. Do you know how long, if you took it, how long it takes, how many days or weeks or months it is for 1,000,000 seconds? 17 days. Do you know how long it takes for 1,000,000,000 seconds? 31 years. These are these maths. Watch your paths, watch your steps, look at the situation away from yourself and go, shit, man, if I sit still long enough. Vipassana is like an Indian dot not feather. Snoochie Boochie Noosies definitely join Weed Club. Dot not feather of sitting, not masturbating, not talking to a girl, no distractions, just sitting and watching how our thoughts and our pathways are bounce off of our brain. Like, it literally go here, go there, go here, go there. And if it isn't the same pathways, like, we should be worried about bills, we should be worried about money, we should be worried about our job, and we set ourselves on these paths, right? We'll get inside of our own head and say, this will be useful time. This would be useful time spent if I stress over let's see, what's a better word? Stress over blessed. If I rely on my business, and this might sound foo-foo or hippie or something else dippy, if I stress through the process, it's not going to make it best. What ends up happening, and I've noticed over 45 years of my life, is I end up losing that time that I would have enjoyed, and the time will go by whether you enjoy it or not. This is, time is unpartisan, unbiased. And while you're wasting your time on stress instead of blessed, you literally don't stay excited in these moments of our lives. We stress through them. We motherfuck them. We curse the gods above that, you sent me a plague and you sent me a girl that, at least I sent you a girl. At least you got action. Most people live an uneventful life. They don't dare to challenge themselves. They don't dare to challenge their mentality. They don't dare to challenge their path. And I'm here to say that was all I needed. I just wanted to own my own business. Lo and behold, 15 years later, I can go, I'm down to my last 40. And instead of borrowing money from a friend or getting scared or letting that stress me out, I leaned back, away from the refrigerator, away from the sugar, away from the women. These things used to be crutches. You have to watch how you lean back. Lean back. You know what I mean? You got to get yourself dance, pulling your pants and do the rock away. Now lean back. And lean back far enough to see how you're driving. Like that big Cadillac. You know what I'm saying? You got to butt that bitch. You got to watch the way you drive. And they say mind the gap in England. But this is where it's at. The gap in our minds where if we're not satiating ourselves with a bunch of thoughts, right? Or a bunch of products or rushing to the next event, we get to sit long enough to see ourselves, hopefully, trackable of how we are. Just exactly how we live in our minds in our lives, in our minds, in our lives. This is what we all came from. That where we connect back into, our purpose. That I was always bound and determined to be a business owner, that I was always bound and determined to be an influencer, that I was always bound and determined to have my voice heard. Now, can I always bound and determined that the money's just gonna come? I don't make the phone ring, bro. I don't put that out in the universe. The universe puts it out there in front of me to send me somebody that just needs 3 stickers real quick. Boom, let's call her. Okay. Boom, we're on the case, And the next thing I know, homeboy's calling me back, going like, "Thank you for following up with my girlfriend. We're gonna be sending you a lot of business. I like the way you talk. I like the way you walk." And I was just like, "Okay, man." And sure as shit, 3 sets of fucking business cards later, I'm making $1,000 in a day. For a guy that had $40 left, I had a look, buying sushi and all this shit. I had a look at my balance because I didn't want to watch my steps, didn't want to watch my pathways, you know what I mean? Just wanted to have fun and then deal with it when it comes. Definitely an addiction mentality. Yeah. That I'm not prepared like a Boy Scout. That I am not in control over my emotions and emotions, and that I'm going to just be flown into the wilderness and let it just spin around in me. This is not what I wanted to do anymore. I wanted to transfer my energy into something that feeds me, that gives energy back to me. This last Sunday, we were at Pinocopa. Let me show it off. We were over here at the print shop, the Pinocopa, and we were working on a Sunday, putting the shelves together, you know what I mean? Making everything more organized, you know what I'm saying? Like just making it tits tight, putting electricity from the ground to above, all sorts of love, all sorts of real love on a Sunday that pays us real dividends on a Monday. You know what I mean? Like by doing these things, we ensure more possibilities. And I just think of all the people that they build things for other people's dreams and they receive no neural pathway, no reinforcements, and no positivity because it isn't really there. When you are building for yourself, you're just like, okay, brick by brick, this will be a wall. The wall will soon be a castle, and the wall will protect this castle. A king builds the castle with the rocks thrown at him. You're going to have to get used to rocks being thrown at your face, And they're hard rocks to swallow. Like, how are you going to stop someone when they're having the time of their lives? Saw my friend last night getting wasted, right? And he was all point. He was singing, funny, didn't miss a joke, didn't miss a shit talk. He was on the case. What he wasn't on the case was financial discipline. Finally he gets the paycheck. Finally he's got the money. Now he's the big boss and I want to spend it all, Hoss. And I'm like, nah, bro. That's not what life is for. Life is to explore. I don't know who the fuck did this, but there we go. I don't know what that is. We'll go back in Finland. It smells so good after the rain. You know what I mean? It's even cold out. And I can see my breath and everything. But you are going to have to walk your own path, man. Maybe you do it in samurai shorts when you can see your own breath. Maybe you do it in Thailand sandals, Maybe you just come out to see the violet and blue and the flowers. You know what I mean? Look just how beautiful this is. Yes. And no, life isn't perfect and it's not always blessed. But the path, if we examine it, if we sit there long enough, we can see that we position ourselves constantly in different scenarios. And you might think that you just appeared and found yourself there. But I have news for you, son. You chose a path and now you got to walk it. Let's bless up. Got to walk the walk, talk the talk, and expand your mind long enough to say, this is why I do the things that I do. Now, a lot of people will never know. They don't care enough to know. They ain't paying attention enough. They're just letting life just go by. And I'm here to say that's a lie. Your life is meant to be explored. You're meant to walk different paths and see where it takes you. You know, most of the paths take us to the refrigerator, take us to the bar, and take us to repetition. And I was just like, why are we so repetitive? Why are we such creature comforts and repetitive monkeys? Why is it that this addiction compels us to do the same thing over and over again without different results? And that's the definition of insanity. That we don't know how to switch our energy. Like I said, I poured my heart and soul into my business, and now it made sure that I can keep traveling. The universe conspired to call these people, 3 stickers, 3 sets of business cards, to call Mark Saint and print an hour and make sure that I feed myself. And as I sat on the couch in my underwear, eating my Reese Freedies, a little fruit rice bowl. It's like a rice pudding with jam on it, strawberry jam, so good. Raspberry jam, whatever you want, caramel. You put it on top. It's kind of like yogurt with granola on top. You know what I mean? And I just like, wow, I'm sitting here chilling like a villain, and I'm making $1,000 by just switching some emails and answering some phone calls. I literally was smoking weed with my friends, and I had to walk away from them. Like, what are you doing? Why are you speaking English? I'm like, bro, stop. I'm talking business, you know? And in that, I gain more business. I grow my business. I grow myself. I grow my pathway. And it's hard to rely. It's going to be hard to rely on the fear of a steady paycheck. And as long as I show up, I talked to Pivy, and she was like, they don't give a shit about you. She's worked at DHL her whole life, and it's just like, sure, she likes her job, but they'll find somebody else to punch in the keyboards. They'll just roll your shit right into the fucking machine and put another human being or even a fucking robot. This is what people are fearing. They're fearing it because they depended on a corporation to be their security instead of depending on themselves to secure themselves. This is an attachment style that I'm always looking for. An external source to soothe me, a chocolate, a commercial, an advertisement, a purchase. That this is going to fix my topic. It's not. It's the mental battles inside. It's yeah, I've been here before, and I know I can earn more income. I know I can do another job. I know I can make more shirts. I know I can hustle some more. I even help my friend do some kratom sales in Canada. I'm down for it. I wasn't planning on doing it, but that's what Smoke and Review is for. And because I have a convention list, and because I have scraped the websites because of Intersect.ai, thank you, Mass, we're doing like 2,000 emails a day. I have to believe in that. I have to believe that I've worked hard enough, and I know I have, that I can rely on this path. I can rely that I worked the path. I created the path. It's almost like all roads lead to Rome. All Roman legions had to be civil engineers. It's not enough just to be a soldier. You have to be an engineer. You have to engineer ramps and ramparts and siege weapons. Like this was everybody's job. Grab a shovel. More than you grabbed your sword, you were building something. And most people think it's just a fight, one battle. No. You had to crawl there. You had to walk there, and probably at a fast pace to beat out the other army. And then you're there, and then you had to build the camp, build some entrapments. Build some strategy. This is what soldiers do. A day in the life of a Roman legion, a Roman legionnaire, to say that I'm not just a fucking soldier. I'm not just some like foot soldier that just walks to the path, right? I built this path. And that makes it so much different for me, that I can rely on me and not external sources, but rely on this universe and believe in abundance and believe in creativity and believe in possibility. And that has changed my whole life. It has changed my whole life to not waste my time in between the next paycheck in dread, going like, I can't do anything. And then that's what you're going to believe. If you believe you can't do anything, then nothing will happen. I got news for you, son. I got 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. Hit me. Lyrics on shirts. That's what it is. Believing in your pattern. believing in your dream, doing the work, and that way you can rely on the outcome. You know, if it's input, right? If the universe is responding to what we believe, what we really truthfully believe, not in our worry, not in our prayer, but in our belief. You know, this is something that most people don't believe. They don't believe that they could ever change, right? That their path can go in a different way, that they can watch their steps go in a different direction. Like, wow, man, I don't have to stay this negative, pessimistic, angry person. I had to change it around. I said, my anger isn't suiting me, it's destroying me. And like the Buddha says, you will be taught by your anger. You know, and most people, they just think it's the universe against them or the gods. We used to say, why not then, not then, why are the gods cursing me? It's like, why didn't you get off the path? Why didn't you make another path? Why didn't you build a structure? Why didn't you build a business? Why didn't you build creativity? No, we want to stay in this negativity. We want to sit here and complain, victim mindset, and just go, oh, the world is against me. Fuck the world. You know, fuck the world. What are you going to do for your soul? What are you going to do for your life? What are you going to do so you can sit in your underwear and make some money sitting at home? You know, I built a business. This is my business. I separate myself from it because I'm just creating and I'm doing things and I want it to work. This machine, come on, machine, 10 grand a month, 50 grand a month. Let's sell it for 100 million, you know? And I'm not going to dread being by the machine that I built and dying by that machine. I'm going to enjoy the process. I'm going to just be like, it's transforming me, just like Lily. You know, you got to go through this process and enjoy the process. Don't rush the process. You know, it's like hating the player, hating the game. No, no, no. It's cocoon time. It's time for you to go in a caterpillar, come out a butterfly. And that takes a process. You can't rush this process. Nature doesn't rush the seasons, as you can see in the spring. It's not going to rush the weather for you. You know what I mean? You know, I'm in a transformation period where I'm actually a CEO of my own business and multiple businesses. And as a serial entrepreneur or a business magnate or international businessman that I am, you know, I'm about that life. Now I can talk about import and exports to Finland, to Canada, to Brazil. Yeah, that's the conversations I'm having. Figured out a way to be the best version of myself. And I watched myself long enough to say, what's serving me, what's hurting me, and what's creating me. And that has changed me completely. You're like completely. Like I had to really sit there and go, okay, Saint, that sugar be a distraction for you, that cocaine be a distraction for you. And you can't wait to distract yourself because it makes you pain free. Ooh, the sun's coming out a little bit. Yep, thank you. Go ahead, baby. Come on out. Come on out. Come here. Come here. Come here. You know, and I wanted to come here and get on these platforms and say it's been a whole different check, and it just arrived here, bro. I used to stress about my bills like a motherfucker, and I would listen to my spiritual mentor Terry Prince, and he would say worrying won't change the outcome, and it didn't help. Worrying didn't help the situation. Sitting there twisting my thumbs or getting bubble guts or biting all my nails off. It wasn't the creativity of creating, getting on the phone and making another phone call, adding someone else on LinkedIn, but focusing again on the business. You know, if I have all this energy, why am I not putting it into me? You know what I mean? And that's all it was. It was just like, I want to put it into something that'll grow me, you know, instead of kill me, you know, like a corporate job. That would kill me. I would just kill all my creativity, all my time, and all my growth. And then I would have to stay in a system instead of traveling around Europe and going wherever I want to go. Imagine, just imagine if you had $1,000 every day. What would you be? What would your life be like? You know, how would you act? How would you move? How would that change your mood? And that's just what it's about. Going in this life and go, I have a purpose. And no matter what the situations that might come, I'm going to live my purpose. I'm going to live in the sun. I'm gonna live in that shine. I'm gonna wait for the rain to go by. I'm not gonna just sit here and just go, oh, it's a rainy day, fuck this day. No, I went out into the rain, even when you can see my breath and it's cold. I still did something with my time. And now with this sunshine, right? Let's look at it now. It's beautiful, bro. Ihana. Totally gorgeous out. And I'm gonna go to the gym, get my workout in, and feel my body expand. Then I'm in the right zone to walk a different path. Then I can go into the sunlight and say, okay, sure, there was rain, but now there's blooms. Now there's shine. Now there's opportunity time. And we have to make ourselves get into a path that'll lead us to an open space. A space where we can sit still long enough, right? Let me get some grounding in. Fresh rain. Oh my God, fresh ground. Look at that grounding. Wow. Woo. And the shrills that go up my spine. What a fucking trip that is, But that's the path, Most of us would probably stayed inside, stayed in our comfort zone, be afraid of the weather, be afraid of our wallets, be afraid of our future. Instead of saying, this is the now, this is the most powerful thing I have. And if I can apply myself, when I apply myself, I can walk a different path. I can be the person that is grounding himself and getting up in the morning and feeling the sunshine on his skin and feeling the ground come up through my spine and invigorate me instead of disintegrate me and make me retract and go backwards. I want to be free. I want to create me. And this future me said I wanted to travel Europe, or I wanted to travel the world, go into the destination, close the deal, and spend more time on the lunch than I did at the meeting. It's the idea. And keep coming up ways to earn income and build businesses around the world so I can be on the couch in my underwear doing the things that I want to do. I think we just scared the shit literally out of that bird. And that's what it is. So for those that are sitting there in distress, this message is for you. I was there. I was depressed. I was unable to motivate myself. I was in park. Now I want you to walk in the park with me in the mornings to say, here's a different path. This is where I want to go with my life instead of this other direction. This bad weather. I'm going to create some good weather inside me. I'm going to create a new reality where I stay at rich people's homes and they move me in the big house so they can make sure that I can stay here, that I can take a loss like a boss when the guy kicked me out about a month ago. Thank you, bro. Now I'm in the big house. Now I have an electric scooter to get around town. Now I can run all my errands and get groceries and drop off things to my friends and meet them. It's all been uphill from there. But when it was happening, it felt a lot like the world was against me, and I just got kicked out 3 different times in 10 days, and I was a bad human being. Next thing you know, my social currency has got me with King Ramus, and I'm living in the big house, living like a high up the hog. I fixed my homelessness problem, you know what I mean? I fixed my transportation issues, and I also fixed my mentality, and that's what we're talking about, We're talking about a dream instead of a disaster, I'm talking about creation instead of masturbation. I'm talking about facing your fears instead of running away. These are paths that most people will never say or do, and it's unfortunately true, that we always kind of capitulate and go backwards and go back to that other pathway because it's so familiar. And I'm here to say, boldly go, bro. Boldly go to a different way. Be able to see that be able to say to yourself that you want to go and live a different way, a different day, every day. And that was the challenge, It was a challenge that I took. Is to do something different every day, and it's been tremendous for me. I'm not even going to lie to you. It's been amazing, because then now I can go into myself and say, I am not here to hurt myself. I'm not here to not be in enjoyment. I'm not here to suffer anymore. I'm here to more than survive. I'm here to thrive. I'm here to grow, and I'm here to transform myself into the best version of myself that I said it could be. I asked Lily, I said, what does Lily look like in 10 years, and that's what I want to own a business. I wanted to impact people. I wanted to people to learn from my mistakes, and be an entrepreneur. And I said, there it is, act as if. There it is. You're already saying what the vision looks like. Now it's time to create that vision, walk that path, and be in that light. And that's your morning motivation. If you got anything out of this, you already know. Like, share, and subscribe below. But as always, peace and love. And Chigathon. That means goodbye, but not forever in Finnish. And I'm in Finland. And I will see you on the other side as soon as you like, share, subscribe. But the other side of your fear, the other side of your excuses, and the other side of the world, because that's where I'll be, in my peace, and my love. And I'm so grateful the sun is shining now. Bye-bye, rain. Let's go train. Men's workout tanks. Peace. I'll see you on the other side.